my dad is going to show you how to make a perfect fire.
The very first thing we need to do to start our perfect fire is start with good starter wood. And I like to use pinyon pine. You can also use aspen, but you want something very dry and lightweight. This wood right here, I get at the local Kroger. And I like it because it's the wood that I want, but it also comes in these shrink wrap packs. So even if it gets left outside for a little bit, it's still going to be dry when you get it from the store. We need to go ahead and break this thing up into smaller pieces. So I'll show you how to do that. This is an extremely important part to starting a one-match fire, or a fire that just takes off without a lot of work. I'll put a link in the description on where to get one of these tools. You can use a hatchet, or you can use a tool like this. If you're using a more dense wood, then you're going to have to use a hatchet. Just also depends on your drill strength. Alright, we can go ahead and start sectioning these things up. We're going to take pieces like this and just make them smaller and smaller until we get our starter parts. I'm going to put a link in the description on where to get this tool. You can also just use a hatchet if you want. Okay, so this is the size that I like to start fires with. About the width of your thumb, or a little bit longer, a little bit thicker. So this right here is the perfect size. Go ahead and make a bunch of those. I like to split a whole bunch at the same time. That way I'm not having to come out here and do it every time I want to start a fire. But yep, just keep going with your bigger logs until you have a bunch of these small pieces like that. So this is the wood that you should have ready to go. 2 larger logs, and then all of our starters over there. So you can see they're in varying sizes. Our first 2 big ones are going to be a hard oak or hickory, or whatever the main wood is that you want to burn for the duration of the night or day or whatever. This stuff is very low smoke and it burns hot and for a long time. This over here is the pine that we split earlier. We have 4 larger pieces, and then we have all of our small starting pieces over here. So this is what we're going to build out of. That's going to catch very quickly, and then over there we have some bills that we don't want to pay. That's what we're going to actually start the fire with. So let me move the camera, and we'll go ahead and get to stacking, and we'll light this thing up. All right, we're going to take our hardwood first, set it long ways here at the bottom. I like to leave ash in the fireplace, at least up to the grill here. It adds a little bit of insulation for the coals. It's going to make it easier to have a hotter fire and last a little bit longer. If you keep this thing completely clean, it's going to take you longer to build hot coals. All right, so there we have our larger pieces. A lot of times I won't do the 2 big pieces here on the bottom. I'll wait, and I'll end up throwing them on top later on. So go ahead and stick your tissues and unwanted bills there in the middle. And we'll add on all of our starter pieces up here on top. Sort of make like a little log cabin thing, like you're using Lincoln logs. There we go. So what this is going to do is actually burn from the top down. Sometimes you would think you would want to do it the other way around, but this actually works really, really well. Now, as long as all of our wood was cut to the right lengths and sizes, we should be able to start this with just a match and be good to go. I'm going to light it up here real quick, and then I'm going to put the fireplace grate on because the pine here pops a lot. Okay, so that little bit should be all that we need. This thing should start right up. There's not any fire starters or chemicals or anything like that on it. Usually with this message you can get away with just one match. Got the camera moved back a little bit so you can see everything, but this should be pretty much all you've got to do. Once this burns down a little bit, you can add more pieces of pine or whatever your starting wood is. If you want to, sometimes that stuff burns really hot and really fast, and it may not burn long enough to get your bottom log started. So you just keep adding in a Lincoln log style pattern. That base gives you a really good way to keep adding logs. If you kind of do it in a different manner, then it can be difficult to add logs on because they'll want to fall off the sides. But having, you know, 2 this way and 2 that way means you can always put new logs on pretty easy. So that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. Thanks for watching.